If I click on the insert button, I should be able to insert the record. If I click on the delete button, I should be able to delete the record. What is the first parameter that I have? I am passing the entire query as a parameter, the first parameter. Along with that, I will also pass this connection object. The same way, CMD is equal to new SQL command insert. Okay, you all know that. I have assumed that you know SQL queries. Observe the entire query. I'm storing it in a variable ABC. Okay, update query. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the yet another interesting session in the .NET programming language. In this session, I will be discussing some of the important topic. So let's check what exactly that I have. So I will be discussing select, insert, update and delete operations. So guys, sir, are you going to discuss about the SQL commands? You will have a big question, right? Yes. To answer that question, I have this slide. So I will be discussing these operations with respect to ADO.NET. How do I perform select operation? How do I perform insert operation? How do I perform delete and update operation with respect to the ADO.NET is what I'm going to address to all of you in this session. So guys, without wasting much of your time, let me get into the session. Imagine this is the form that I have. So all of you will be knowing in the previous session, we have discussed in detail how to create a form. Imagine we have created the form. In that form, I have included all these elements. So thinking that in mind, so let me assume that I have this form with me. Okay. In this form, you just have to understand that I have some few buttons which will help me. If I click on the insert button, I should be able to insert the record. If I click on the delete button, I should be able to delete the record. If I click on the update, it should be able to delete or update is what you need to remember. And also, if I click on the display, it should display. Okay, it should also it should perform the select operation is what you need to remember at this point of time. So imagine or assume. So we have a form like that. Okay, assuming that. So let me start my programming. So when it comes to the coding part, so what is that I have to write? So guys, it's very important that you need to start with the namespace System.Data.Sqlclient. This is the very important namespace that you have to have. So fine, after creating the namespace, after having a namespace in your coding, then you have to create the objects for these three things. So what is these three things? We have already discussed in our previous classes, different objects that ADO.NET supports. The first one that we have is connection object is what you have to create. And then after that, you have to create the command object and also you have to create the data reader object. So guys, so these three objects I have to create because if I want to establish the connection, obviously I have to have the connection object. And then in the same way, if I want to execute any command, so I should have the command object. And if I want to have the reader object, so I should create the object for the SQL data reader is what you need to remember. So fine, in the beginning, I will create the objects like this. Then after that, what? So observe in this line, I have used a con object. So why do I need that? So guys, I have to establish the connection between the .NET as well as the SQL. So for that, I have to copy the connection. So guys, within this parameter or within this parenthesis, I will be copying the connection string. That's what you need to remember. So fine, I have copied the connection string. It is available in the connection string. If you go to the properties and if you check, connection strings are there. You just have to copy paste that connection string. That will establish a connection between the .NET as well as the MySQL. So fine, done. You don't have to mug up this. This will be different for each and every system. So that's what you need to remember. Okay, imagine that we have a parenthesis at the end. Okay, so fine. After that, so guys, I have a function called display. So inside this, I'm just opening the connection con.open. Then after that, observe here what I have. So CMD, I'm using this object. Okay. So CMD is equal to new SQL command. So within this, okay, within this function, I'm passing two parameters. Observe. What is the first parameter that I have? I am passing the entire query as a parameter, the first parameter. Along with that, I will also pass this connection object. So both the things I'm passing. So fine, that is stored in the CMD. Okay, that's an object, command object that I've created. Then after that, observe here what I have. CMD.execute reader. Whatever that I have here, I will execute with the help of this execute reader is what you need to remember. After that, so what happens once the query is executed? So guys, in this row, I'm trying to create the object for data table as DT. Okay, virtually it will create the table. So fine. So whatever the data that I have observed here, okay, so the data what I have executed, the result is stored in this DR. My result is stored in this DR. That's why I will call it as a data reader. So whatever the query that I have sent, so for that I should get the data, right? So that data is stored in DR. So I will pass this DR, okay, using the function called load. This load will load the result. Whatever I have to get from this query, that result is stored in this DR is what you need to remember. So fine. After that, so guys, what I will be doing, so I will be loading this data into this DT, the table what I have created, and I will be representing that using the grid view in this line. I will represent the data what I have got. So using the grid view, so I will be representing that. Okay, that's what you need to remember. After that, I will close the connection. This is how I will be performing this select operation to display the content whatever I've got. I'll be using this code. Hope I've explained that in detail. Moving forward to the next one, if you understand this, rest everything is very simple. Guys, when it comes to the insert, what do I have to do? So it's very simple. When it comes to the insert, all these things are common, so you don't have to type it again and again. So it's common for everything. So now what is that I have to do? So you just have to open the connection. Then here in this 3 lines, it is up to you what you're trying to take or what you're reading the values. I'm just reading 3 values in the 3 variables. AA is 1 variable, BB is 1 variable, and CC is 1 variable. In the same way, CMD is equal to new SQL command insert. Okay, you all know that. I have assumed that you know SQL queries. You just have to follow the same syntax here within double quotes. So you just have to have the insert query comma connection is what you have to specify. Imagine that you have connection, all right? So, and then you will close the parenthesis. Then after that, cmd.execute non-query is what you have to use whenever you are inserting the record. This is the most important thing that you need to remember. Whenever you're inserting the record, so you have to execute cmd.execute non-query. But observe here cmd.execute reader, you're reading the data. But here you're storing the data. Execute non-query is very, very important whenever you're inserting the data. So fine. After that, how will I get to know the data is inserted? So that I'm just showing a message saying that within double quotes, 1 row updated or inserted, whatever message you want, you can give. After that, connection close, display call function. Okay, that's what display function in the sense you're using the select query function. So this will be called, so entire thing, whatever I have in the table, will be displayed. That's how the insert is working. Same thing, I have delete. Okay, so observe connection open, then I have a variable which I take the value, and then after that, cmd is equal to new SQL command. So inside that, I will have the delete query, whatever you want, like follow the SQL syntax. You can give it inside that along with that connection object is what I'm passing. Then after that, cmd.execute non-query. Okay, that's what you need to remember. Then after that, message box, common thing, close connection, display. Same thing. The only thing is you just have to change this line syntax. That's it, compared to insert and delete. And last one that we have. So guys, when it comes to the last one that we have update, so observe what I have here. So I'm just trying to open the connection. So fine. After that, I'm taking the values. Okay. Then after that, again, one more value I'm taking. Whatever you want, you can just take it. So I'm converting this value, whatever I have in the string, into int. You can just do according to your need. All right. So fine. Here also, I'm just trying to convert the string into integer is what you need to remember. And then I'm storing that values in the A, B, and C. A, B, B, and C, C. That's what you need to remember. And then observe the entire query. I'm storing it in a variable ABC. Okay. Update query. Same syntax what you guys were using in the SQL. Same thing, because I'm dealing with MySQL. That's what you need to remember. Whatever the syntax that you had with the MySQL, same query I will be using here is what you need to remember. Then after that, SQL command cmd is equal to same thing. Instead of writing this entire query here, I just wanted to show you the other way around. All right. So you can also pass the variable instead of placing the entire query. So the ABC in the sense the entire query what I have, along with that connection is what I have here. Then followed by, I will execute the query what I have here, cmd.execute non-query. Then after that, I'll show the message. Once the query is executed, one record updated is what I will print, and then I'll close the connection. I'll call the display function so that I'll get to know what are the changes that I've done on the table. So this is how we select, insert, update, and delete with respect to the ADO.NET. All right, so guys, Hope I have given you the brief and detailed explanation on this. With this, I've come to an end of this syllabus. Thank you very much. Stay healthy, score really well. All the very best from my side. Thank you.